Hey, thanks for stopping by. So, what's one of the most popular appetizers that you order when you're out? I bet you it's a spinach and artichoke dip. Yep, so that's what we're gonna do today, but we're not gonna use chips. I've got a baguette that I'm gonna season with some rosemary and some thyme and some olive oil, and we're gonna use that as our dipper. It's easier than you think to make, and this is what you're gonna need. Okay, so obviously you're gonna need a can of artichokes. So what I did here is I rinsed these just to get that, taste of the can off of them. Now these are not marinated. If you want to try the marinated ones, try the marinated ones. I wanted to make my own flavors. So I got one can here, and we're going to chop those up. I've got some chopped spinach here, some frozen chopped spinach. That what I'm going to do is, once this is completely thawed, I'm going to wring out and get it as dry as possible. What we're going to need is we're going to need a little bit of lemon juice, and I'm going to put the lemon juice on the artichokes. Some garlic, half of an onion, about a medium-sized onion that I cut. We're going to make a roux because we're going to start with a bechamel sauce. And to make a roux, you're going to need equal parts flour and fat. So we're going to use 2 tablespoons of butter to 2 tablespoons of flour. And we're going to add some cheeses in here. We're going to add some Brie. Brie is a nice soft cheese. Probably half of this, I'm not sure yet. And what I have here is cream cheese. I've got 4 ounces of cream cheese, which is half of a block that you buy in the store. I'm going to use some Monterey Jack, and I'm going to use some fresh grated Parmesan cheese. So with that being said, okay, first I want to start with the garlic, because I like using my garlic masher. I like showing how to use it. So I got a couple small cloves here. I'm going to cut the ends off only because they look a little dry, and we're just going to mash these up, and that's all there is to it with this wonderful little device. And then you just take it and scoop it off. And this is going to go into our bechamel. And we're just going to give these a quick chop. Now we're going to put them back in this bowl. Take that lemon. Now if you squeeze it through your fingers, you'll catch any of the seeds. Give that a little mix and set that aside. Okay, while we're waiting for that spinach to drain, we're going to shred up this cheese. So we're going to start with the Monterey Jack. We're going to do that on the larger, and yes, I have to get myself a better cheese grater. Okay, that's about half that block. Let's see how that is for now. And if we want more, we can put more in it. As always, this is a first for me. I looked online and I saw a bunch of recipes, but I didn't want to make it in the microwave. I didn't want to use the cheating steps. So I kind of took a combination of other recipes, and I guess you could say I created this. So we take that wax off. We don't want that wax. Take that wax off. And with this one, I want to use the finer cheese grater. I'm using the block instead of the pre-grated because, I don't know, they say that they actually add a chemical to the pre-grated to keep it from lumping up, and that chemical kind of inhibits some of the melting. So yeah, I normally get the pre-grated, but I'm going to see how this works. If this seems to melt better, I may do this from now on. Okay, let me grade this just so you get an idea. It's a fine grade, and let me finish this up, and then we'll get to making that bechamel sauce. Okay, so I have a skillet here. So I'm using a larger skillet. And what I want to do is I want to melt those 2 tablespoons of butter. And what we're going to do is we're going to sweat down the onions and garlic. So we're going to need some cream and some milk. We're going to make our own half and half. Okay, we'll start with the onion. Put the onion in there. Put that garlic in there. Turn this down to a medium heat. I actually think we can use a little bit more butter, so I'm going to add another little slab. That's probably half a tablespoon. All right, that looks better. All right. So now I'm going to sprinkle that 2 tablespoons of flour. We want to cook this for a little bit, so this way we don't have a raw flour taste. Now we're going to season it with salt and pepper towards the end, and the reason for that is with the cheeses in there and everything, it might have enough salt, and it's all going to depend on your taste. I'm just turning the heat up a little bit, but I'm going to stand over this and keep it moving. Again, this is a bechamel sauce, so this is like one of the mother sauces, and you can make anything with this sauce, any type of sauce. So the thing here is, you can use this as a base for your mac and cheese. So we'll start with half a cup and half a cup. So that's half a cup of milk, half a cup of cream. We'll definitely need some more. Turn this down to a medium. You can see it already starting to thicken. So let's do another half cream, half milk. So that makes it 1 cup of milk and 1 cup of cream. So we're going to let this cook, and this won't really start to get thick until it starts to boil. Once I see that it's starting to get thick, I'm going to start adding some of those cheeses. Okay, so you can see how it's gotten thick. We're going to add that cream cheese. I'm going to get this to melt, and then once cream cheese melts, we're going to put the Monterey Jack in and the Parmesan as well. Let me get this down, and the cream cheese melted, then we'll be back. All right, that cream cheese is melted. So now I'm gonna put some Monterey Jack in here. I'm just gonna measure it out, even though I normally don't measure. So this is about half a cup. Get that to melt. Now, if this becomes too thick, not a big deal. Add a little bit of milk or cream in there. And now I'm gonna call that half a cup of Parmesan. Okay, I took the sauce off the heat while I come over here and figure out how much of this brie I want to use. So, I'm thinking this much. So, if you were to pack that in a half a cup, well, that's how we're going to measure. I know it's not the right way to measure, but that's how we're going to measure for this. All right. Now this is the first time I've ever tried brie, and it's basically, to me, it's like a creamy mozzarella. There's just a little salt taste, not a big salt, just a hint of salt, and basically like a basic cheese. But what's great about it is the melting of it. You'll see how it melts like really good. So we have this melting. While this is melting, grab my other ingredients, the last of the ingredients. I'm gonna taste this for seasoning. That's really good. We are going to black pepper and some salt. These are just pinches of salt. Now let's stir these in. That's the artichokes and the spinach. I'm going to add just a little bit more milk just to thin it out. Now, I've seen one or two recipes where they put a dash of hot sauce in. And since I'm going to be the only one that's eating this, I'm going to put a couple dashes of Tabasco. And then one last taste. More salt, more pepper. Take that off the heat. All right, we're going to put it in a casserole dish. Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to give it a little spray. So I guess at this point I should be heating up my oven. All right, I'm preheating my oven to 350. And now I'm going to pour this dip into this casserole. You know, at this point, you could do anything you want with it. You could, I've seen recipes where they actually put crab meat in it as well. So now you want to top it off with some Monterey Jack and some Parmesan. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the oven for about 20 minutes or so at 350, and we're going to let it get that crusty golden brown on top, and then we're gonna take it out, but we're still gonna make our baguette. We're up to 350. We're gonna take our artichoke dip. We're gonna put it in there for about 20 minutes. Okay, so artichoke dip is in the oven, and we're gonna leave it there for 20 minutes, but we're gonna check on it, make sure that everything's looking good. Obviously, if you check on it and it's nice and golden brown, take it out. And when that comes out, we'll put that baguette in and that only has to stay in for 5 or 10 minutes. So we got thyme, right? So see how thyme is growing in this direction? It's growing up. You go against the way it's growing, and it comes right off. Now I like using fresh herbs. If you only have dried, you can only use dried. It's not a big deal. And we're going to chop this really fine. Aside, a couple fresh twigs of rosemary. Same thing, if you pull it against the way it's growing, it should come off with relative ease. And then you just cut up real fine. Okay, so here I have my thyme and my rosemary all mixed together. All right. So now these baguettes just came out of the oven when I bought it a couple hours ago. And what you want to do is you want to cut it, and you want to cut it about, you know, less than 1 inch thick, but you don't want to cut it all the way. So let me cut this through, and then we'll be back. Okay, so I have my baguette all sliced, right? Now what you want to do is you want to douse it with olive oil. Salt and pepper. Easy on the salt because we're going to put cheese on it. Take the herbs that you cut up. And now a generous amount of that Parmesan cheese. We're going to put this in for, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes, long enough for it to melt. Okay, so this has gone for a little bit longer than 20 minutes, and it's exactly where I want it to be. So now, using that same temperature of 350, I'm throwing that baguette in. Okay, so baguette's out. It went longer than I thought. Got a little dark spot there, but I'm okay with it. But I'm gonna break it open. Okay, so let's give this a taste. So we got all right. That's so good. It's better with the bread than it is with chips. I guess I'll be eating this whole thing. This is my first time making this, and I'm not disappointed at all. I will list the ingredients in the description area of the video. It wasn't hard at all. Very tasty. I think you'll be happy. And it's not taking the shortcut like using a microwave, and it's real cooking. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you again soon.